Subscribe for more family stories and curiosities around the internet. Peace and love, Guasho. I was a savior sibling and I hate my parents for it. My older sister was born with a rare blood disorder. She had to receive frequent blood transfusions and was on a lot of medication. Doctors told my parents the prognosis was grim. Her organs were damaged and her condition was deteriorating. Obviously my parents were grief-stricken. They did a lot of research and went to many doctors and heard of something called hematopoietic stem cell transplantation. Long story short, the only way for them to do the procedure was to have a kid through IVF who was genetically compatible with my sister. That kid was me. I hate knowing that the only reason I was conceived was to harvest my body parts for my sister. It would have been easier if my parents had told me I was a mistake, but knowing that the only reason my parents had me wish to save my sister kills me. Do not get me wrong. I love my sister and my parents are not abusive, but it still hurts that I am only valued because I saved my sister. My parents constantly give her more attention and spoil her because according to them she has been through a lot. They do not love me the way they love her. I was only a means to an end. I was only a product created to save their daughter. I never consented any procedure. Now my sister finds out that her liver is not doing so well and there is a good chance she might need a liver transplant in the future. My mother automatically told her and the doctor not to worry, because I would be the donor. I am so ducking angry and hurt. She did not even ask me, she just came home and told me that I would be giving part of my liver to my sister. It is a serious surgery and she did not even consider the risks for me. I would do it because I love my sister, but I hate my parents for turning me into a servant and donor farm for my sister. Update: I am completely overwhelmed with gratitude for all the love I have been shown from internet strangers. It is great to know that most people are good, so thank you. Based on advice here, I have decided to take a couple of days to calm down as well as wait for my mother to calm down. Then I will write a letter addressing all the points in this post and more. I will sit down with both of my parents and try to talk to them honestly and maturely. I will also talk to my sick sister, my eldest sister, and my grandparents about everything. A large part of me doubts anything will change, but I am trying to have a little bit of hope. How old are you? Do you have any other trusted adults you could talk to? A teacher or guidance counselor maybe? There is a good chance she might need a liver transplant in the future. Does not sound like it is an urgent need, so there is time for her to go on a transplant list and find another donor. You do not have to do this if you do not want to. It can be no one else's decision but your own, and duck your mom for trying to make it for you. Heck, one of your parents could be a match for an organ, or another family member. Whatever you choose is valid, and do not let anyone tell you differently. Thank you for your support. I am 14, about to turn 15. I have my grandparents but they are pretty quiet and non-confrontational, so I am afraid they would not stand up to my parents. My mom can be a bit of a bulldozer. If you are in the United States they cannot force you to have a surgery against your will. I would consider talking to your school counselor if you have one available. If this is legitimate, you need to talk to a trusted adult about this as soon as possible. I can't think of anything more abusive than forcing someone to undergo painful, life-altering medical procedures. You are not some mindless clone. If you can talk when there are two adults present, teachers, school counselor, teacher's assistant. They are obligated to do something. It is part of their job. I am so sorry this has happened to you. None of this is your fault. Any feelings that you experience are valid. I know this might put you in a really tough spot with your parents and your sister, whom you love. When something happens like this again, see if you can talk to a doctor or nurse by themselves. Tell them you do not want to do the surgery, be a donor or whatever the thing is. If it is a good medical provider, they should uphold their do no harm oath because you are their patient too. If they do not or try to brush it off, find someone else. Do you have an aunt, uncle or other close relative you could talk with? You need someone in your corner. And please remember that this is not okay. Just because you biological match your sister does not mean you have to give her your organs. You, as yourself and as a unique person, have value too. Do not forget that. Legally, if you tell a doctor that you don't want to be a donor for any reason including pressure from your family, they are required to mark you down as an ineligible donor and cannot tell your family why you re-ineligible. This is literally the plot of the movie My Sister-Ass Keeper. I have never heard of that movie, but it seems to be based off of a real-life story since my parents have shown me tons of stories about kids who were conceived like me. I am sorry, but who the heck thought that was a good idea? I've read a few of those for a school project a while ago, and it was depressing as duck. It always put a good ending spotlight on the child on the receiving end, but never anything about what happened to the child you donated. It's disgusting. Yeah, everyone always focuses on how amazing it is that I saved my sister, but no one gives a crap about how ducked up the entire idea is. Having a kid just to be an organ farm is disgusting, and I hate how people think it is beautiful. The whole reason cloning is not allowed is so that this does not happen. The fact that it is already happening, people being born to act as organ donors for the ill, is appalling. I am so sorry, OP. This is so wrong. I am dumbstruck as to the ethical loopholes that would allow doctors to even suggest such a thing. Who the duck breeds someone just to farm organs? This is not the island. We have rights as people. Ethically, this kind of decision is being made in economics almost every day. A group people must sacrifice for the well-being of another group, by class, race, occupation, and all the other jazz. There really is not much of an ethical loophole at all, because humans has been doing this for thousands of years. Think even if a parent can do this to their own child, what we are willing to do to strangers we have never met before. I am talking about doctors who have sworn the Hippocratic Oath to do no harm. You dense cucumber. An individual doctor made an unethical choice to advise the parents of a sick kid to IVF the human equivalent of a parts car. This is not a global patriarchy thing, it is an individual with a medical license. Transplant nurse here. First of all, let me just say my heart hurts for you and your situation. You deserve to be loved for yourself. You sound like an amazing person. Just know that you are special in your own right, and you are worthy of being loved and adored just for being you. From a medical standpoint, several things. Just because you're a blood relative, you may not be a match for any organ transplant. Lots of family members aren't. An identical twin is about the only relative that shouldn't be a question of matching. The stem cell situation is totally different and doesn't guarantee that your liver would be a match. Secondly, you can donate your entire liver and remain alive. You can donate a portion of your liver, but there aren't a lot of hospitals that do this procedure. My hospital has been doing transplants of all kinds since the 1970s, and we just did our first partial liver a couple of years ago. Both you and your sister would have to go through extensive testing and counseling. There is no guarantee that she would be put on a transplant list. Even if there was a willing person to donate, there are a lot of variables. That being said, please talk to the medical staff. We don't force anyone to give up their organs, and a lot of people don't want to do it. We hear it all the time. Be honest with the team. They will simply tell your parents you're not a match, and like I said before, there is a good chance that you aren't. They will protect you. I'll keep you in my thoughts. Remember, you are worthy and special all on your own. Thank you. This is so helpful. The doctors were looking at a partial liver transplant, which is why my mom volunteered me. I am glad to know that matching a liver transplant is an entirely different process. I think my mom just assumed that because I was genetically matched through IVF for a stem cell transplant, I would also be a match for a liver transplant. Genetically matched in this case just means you're a full sibling. I hope you know you are so valuable by yourself too, and this doesn't define you. I'll be here if you need anyone to talk to. I am rooting for you. This is so right. OP, you don't need your family approval or validation. You are valuable. If your parents can't see you more than a donor farm, it's really their loss. Jesus Christ, I thought this BS only happened in My Sister-Ass Keeper. Please run away. Unfortunately, it really does happen. I am not the only one. There are plenty of other kids who were created for the same purpose. Just Google "save your siblings." That is absolutely horrifying. It should not be allowed. Where the heck is the pro-life crowd on this one? The life was created. Their work is done. Thanks for watching. Consider subscribing for more videos.